Share my screen. Today we'll discuss about some SQL of it's free and some of the basic concept of SQL only. Okay. So first of all, who can use the SQL? Anyone can answer? This one already we have discussed in the first decisions. If you guys remember, you guys can tell me who can able to use the SQL. Anyone? Who will use SQL?
The developers and the testers.
Developers, testers. Then who will use SQL? Any other answer? Anyone?
Test engineers.
Data scientists.
Data scientist. Okay. Any other answer? So fine, all a good answer. But basically, so who is developer means database developer, especially the database developer. Okay, the database developer can use the SQL. Okay, and database tester. Can I call it as SQL tester as a database tester? Yes or no? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, please respond it. Okay. Yeah, and the one more person, the database administrator. Okay. Administrator also can use this SQL. Okay. So are you clear about this? So who can use the SQL? Database testers, database developers, and database administrators. Clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
So, okay. So I told now who will use it. Then next question. The database developer, what they will do, the tester, what is the work, and administrator, what they'll do in this SQL. Database developer, what they will do it, especially in database I'm talking here. Are you guys able to see my screen, right? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Anyone can able to answer it? Database
Think they will
developer.
create the tables and they'll insert all the data.
Exactly the correct. So the developers, what they will do it, they'll do the create the database and the create the table. Okay. Who will do it? The create the database and create a table and also insert the data into the table. This is a task will be done by the database developers. Okay. So what they will do, the test engineers? Already we have discussed, right? What is the tester task? You can see that
Tester,
previously we
yeah,
have
backend
used.
validation.
Yes, exactly. Why you guys confused? So database tester, basically they'll do the backend validation. Backend validation means what? Backend validation means what? They
Storing
can,
data, modification, removing, or
yes.
accessing.
Yes, exactly the same. So whenever they'll ask anybody for what is mean by backend validation, you have to be tell that the database tester can able to insert the data and they can retrieve the data or update or modify the data, and whatever the data is unwanted data, they can able to delete the data. Though that those bonds completely called as a backend validation. We'll do the backend validation in the database server where it is present in the table. Clear? I hope you understand. Database tester, what they will do it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So then next, at last, database administrator, what they will do it? We can call it as DBA also, database testers. Okay. Sometimes they'll called as DBA. What they will do? Anyone have an idea about this? No worries. So the DBA, they can maintain the successful environment in the databases. If any crashes or if there any data is erased, so to recover those data, that actions, that performance will be done by the database administrators. So whatever they'll do this, developer and tester work, right? So they have to create the data, to insert the data or creating the table. Something in middle they have happened for the crashes. So you guys remember that when you have an industries as a testers, you will do this all the system administrator, so something suddenly it is your laptop is not working.
Yes.
Whom you will contact? System administrator. They'll
Yes,
connect
ma'am.
your laptop either VPN connection or based on your compatibility. So they'll connect and they'll resolve your issues. Any crashes, you cannot able to access your email, you cannot access your Teams applications, and if you're not able to access something, the Excel files or anything, so they'll resolve these issues. The same way, the database administrator also, they'll be connect you, they'll be maintaining whatever your data is present in the database server. Suddenly, if you millions of data was there, if it is more than the data is updated in sometimes, so what they will do to avoiding the crashes or to maintain the stability of the data, that will be worked by the database administrator. I hope it's clear. DBA, understood? So I'll give you one more example. When you have a new, it's been almost 3, 4 years back, not exactly. So at this, in WhatsApp company, they stopped immediately to sending the messages, to perform any calls or to perform video call, anything. All the actions they have stopped in almost 15 minutes in a WhatsApp. You guys, remember that the situations. So the
Yes, yes.
developer, testers, everything is done. The WhatsApp is a very stable applications, right? So anybody can use easily access to communicate with one person to the other person. So if because of that, millions of user to do the wishes through the WhatsApp, that is a major communication for application, right? The suddenly it is stopped it. Something WhatsApp crash is happening, right? In the server. Why it is happening? Because so normal days, every day you guys will use it, millions. But in a newer day, everyone worldwide, all the people will use it, the WhatsApp. So it might be cause the crash on the application. So because of that, they'll do the back end validation. Administrator will be handled to the WhatsApp, how it is the communication is happening to smoothly working to the back end validation. So that person we can call it as a administrator. Clear? And tester also become an administrator. It is not an issue with that. Understood, everyone?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So basically, whatever crashes or if it is suddenly removed the data, to want to recover those data, to maintain the backup of the data, that action, that performance will be done by the database administrator. That is also called as DBA. Clear? So next, importance of SQL. What are the importance of SQL? Anybody can answer it? What will do this? What are the importance? Creating, creating a database. These are the one of the importance of SQL. And next, after database creating, what will do it? create create a table in database. This is also one of the importance of SQL. First we'll do the database, and next we'll do the creating the table in the databases, and next what they will do, we can do the creating view. I'll tell you what is mean by view later. Like it would be viewing your table, whatever you are inserting the data. So the next, what I can do it in table, what will do this after creating table?
Creating columns.
Inserting new data, inserting new data into the table, into the table. Okay. After inserting, what you guys will do it? What exactly will do it? Update the data,
Fetching the data.
update or modify.
Modifying the data.
These are all importance. Okay, modify the data. And the next, what will do it? Deleting, or deleting unwanted data. Okay, unwanted data into the table or databases. And the next, fetching, fetching the fetching the data, or retrieving or accessing the data from the databases. What we can call as fetching, retrieving, or access the data from the table and inside the databases. This all the importance of SQL. Are you guys clear about this? Creating the database, creating the table, creating the view, and inserting new data into the databases, or update or modify the data into the databases, deleting unwanted data, or fetching or retrieving or access the data into the databases. Clear? These are the importance of SQL. So the next, what are the advanced SQL? Advanced SQL. Anybody knows about this? We can call it as a joins, subquery. I'll tell you the later what is meant by joins and what is meant by subqueries and all. Don't worry about that. Then create a stored procedure data, stored procedure data, and we can create the index, or trigger the data, or cursor. These are all advanced concepts. Okay, for advanced concept of SQL, join, subquery, we can create the stored procedure data and index, trigger, cursor datas. Okay, cursor datas. And the one more important, the PLSQL. Are you guys heard about this PLSQL? Yes, sir.
No. No.
This is the one of the advanced SQL. What is meant by PL means procedural language. There is a one of the structural language was there, that is called as a procedural language. Procedural language, extension of SQL. Procedural language, extension of SQL. So these are the advanced type of SQL. Are you guys clear about this? Who will use SQL and importance and advanced SQL? Any doubt? Okay. So let's go for the some history of SQL. So we already discussed about this history of SQL, right? So who is the first owner of the company SQL?
IBM.
Is IBM, and the second current owner is
Oracle.
Oracle.
Oracle. Okay. Who has invented SQL? Anybody knows this? It's developed by. So every language will be have a initiated by the person. Okay. So this Raymond Boy is the first person to introduce this SQL. Okay. Raymond Boy. Raymond Boy is the owner of the SQL, and in the year when he is invented for SQL in 1970. In 1970, there's a Raymond Boy is SQL, and also and we can call it as Raymond Boy is a father of SQL as well. Okay, is the initiated by SQL, and also he is the person we can call it as a father of SQL. And also we have EF Cod is a co-founder. Okay, EF Cod is the co-founder of SQL. Clear? EF Cod. EF means we can call it as Edgar Frank. Okay, Edgar Frank Cod is the co-founder of SQL. Co-founder of SQL. So Raymond Boy is a father of SQL, and EF Cod is a co-founder of SQL. So, and the SQL initially is developed by IBM, and the current owner is SQL is called as Oracle. Okay, Oracle is the company, the owner of the SQL. So initially, what is the name of SQL? This also we have discussed. We called it as a SQL. What is the full form of SQL? Anybody can tell? Simple English query. We can call it as simple English query executable long language. Executable language. And the later, who is changed as a SQL to SQL? The later they changed as a SQL, structured query language. So initially the name was is a SQL, simple English query executable language, and later it got changed as a SQL, that is called as a structured query language. When it is got changed, anybody knows this? In earlier days, this name, like, don't worry about that, is like initially it was called as a SQL, right? Once ANSI means, I'll tell you what is this ANSI. So ANS C double I, or we can call it as ANSI. One more, ANSI. Okay, what does this means? American National Standard Code Information Interchange, or we can call it as American National Standard Institute. So this was acquired to the this SQL. So then they have renamed this ANSI. Once it is acquired to this company, they changed as a sequel to SQL. Understood? This institute is acquired. This changed as a sequel to SQL. Clear, everyone? This is the small history of SQL. If someone is asking who is the owner of SQL, who has invented, who is the co-founder of SQL, and what is the current owner of the SQL, and initially what is it? What's the name? We can call it as SQL. when it is changed, who has changed as is equal to SQL. This all the answer you should ready to answer them. Clear? This you guys will be remember the small history of SQL. Then in 1970, the Raymond Boy is invented to SQL, and initially the name is the owned by IBM, the co-founder of EF Code, and initially the name as a simple English query executable language. Once the ANSI is taken over for this company, they changed as a SQL, like SQL, the structured query language. Then current owner is Oracle. This is the small history of SQL, the structured query language history. Clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's take the notes on this. Then we'll go for the database concept. Okay. You guys need to repeat this again? Anyone? Shall I repeat? Hello? Shall I repeat this again?
No, no, no. You can
No,
continue.
ma'am. No, ma'am. You
Oh,
can continue.
yeah. So let's take the notes on this first. Then we can go for the database. Okay. Database concept. So let's take the heading. Who can use SQL or uses of SQL? Who can use SQL or uses of SQL? Next, copy. Database developer, first one. Database developer, second one. Database tester, and third one, database administrator. Who can use SQL or uses of SQL? The first one, database developer, and second one, database tester, and third one, database administrator. And after that, take the small heading, database developer. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Continue with this database developer in front of that. Developer use SQL to create a database. Developer use SQL to create a database and create a table in the database. Developer uses SQL to create a database and create a table in the databases. Next heading, database tester. Database tester. In front of that copy, the test engineer uses SQL to perform backend validation. The test engineer uses SQL to perform backend validation. To perform backend validation.
Can you please repeat that sentence again?
Yeah. The test engineer use SQL. The test engineer use SQL to perform backend validation. To perform backend validation. Is done?
Yes, done.
Yeah. Next, small heading, backend validation. Backend validation. In front of that, copy whatever the data which is entered, whatever the data which is entered in front of, in front end, whatever the data which is entered, whatever the data which is entered in front end has, in front end as successfully stored in backend databases. Whatever the data is entered in front of, in front end has successfully stored, in front end as successfully stored in backend, in backend. So in the bracket, the backend means is a database. It means you'll be inserting or retrieving or anything, deletions or mod accessing the data. That is called as a backend validation. Clear? So the next heading, database administrator, DBA. You can call it as DBA, database administrator. Copy in front of DBA. DBA will use SQL. DBA will use SQL. DBA will use SQL to maintain successful environment in a databases. DBA will use SQL. DBA will use SQL to maintain successful environment in a database. Successful environment in a database. DBA will use SQL to maintain successful environment in a database. Open the bracket, copy, continue with the same line. It means if any crashes or disasters, I'll tell you the spelling. It means if any crashes or disasters, crashes or disasters happens, how to recover, it means if any crashes or disasters happens, how to recover, comma, backup the data, comma, how to prevent from, prevent means protect, okay, how to prevent from crash or disasters, crash or disasters, full stop, close the bracket. Done?
Yes, done.
Yeah. Next heading, importance of SQL. Importance of SQL. First one, creating a database. Creating a database. Second point, creating a table in database. Creating a table in the database. Third one, creating a view. Creating a views. The fourth one, inserting new data into the table. Inserting the new data into the table. Table or database, we can call it. Inserting new data into the table. And updating or modifying old data into the new data in the database. In the database. The next point, deleting unwanted data from the database. From the database. Deleting unwanted data from the database. The next one, fetching or retrieving or accessing data from the database. Copy this, all this, okay? Is it done?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, copy it. Let me know once it is done. Just take this. I'll give you the later, this joins and queries. Copy this as well, okay? Advanced SQL. Create a stored procedure and create an index, trigger and cursor, and PLSQL, procedural language extension of SQL. Copy this as well, advanced SQL. So basically advanced SQL means they'll call it as a PLSQL only. Done? Copied everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Others? Still copying anybody?
Yeah, it's done.
Okay. So the next heading, SQL history. SQL history. Under that, copy. SQL was developed by Raymond Boy. SQL was developed by Raymond Boy in the year of 1970. Full stop. SQL was developed by Raymond Boy in the year of 1970. 1970. And Raymond Boy is known as father of SQL. Raymond Boy is known as is known as father of SQL. Full stop. EF code. EF code. I'll give the full form in the bracket. You can copy it. Okay. EF code means Edgar Frank code. You can open the bracket. EF code is a co-founder of SQL. EF code is a co-founder of SQL. Full stop. SQL was developed by IBM company. SQL was developed by IBM company. IBM company. But current owner of SQL is Oracle company. Oracle company. Full stop. Repeating once again, SQL was developed by IBM company, but current owner of SQL is Oracle company. Oracle company. Full stop. In earlier days, SQL was known as SQL was known as CQL. In earlier days, SQL was known as CQL. What is meant by CQL? Simple English Query Executable Language. In the bracket, copy it. In earlier days, SQL was known as SQL. That means Simple English Query Executable Language. Once Hansi or ANSI, copy this, okay? Once ANSI or HANSI, standard was occupied. ANSI standard was occupied and renamed renames SQL to SQL. SQL to SQL in the year of 1979.
Ma'am, can you repeat the sentence?
Yeah, sure. So in the year of 1979, I'll repeat once again. In earlier days, SQL was known as SQL. That means Simple English Query Executable Language. Once HANSI or ANSI standard was acquired, ACQUIRED, okay, acquired and renames SQL to SQL in the year of 1979. In the year of 1979. What is meant by this ANSI? American National Standard. American National Standard Code Information information interchange. And one more, what is this? ANSI, right? What does this mean? ANSI? American National Standard Institute. Okay, is just copied this. What is meant by ANSI and or ANSI? We can call both. Okay. Is it done?
Ma'am.
Anyone still copying? Everyone done? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Stop copying. Let's go for the new topic called as database concept. I'll give you time, don't worry. Let's go. What is meant by data? Anybody know this? Anyone aware of this? Don't know?
General information.
Okay. Let me again tell you this. Just give me a minute. I'll give you the. Any other answer? Anyone can tell? What is meant by data? That's it. So as a employee, if you're joining, what are the information you will get? Name,
Employee ID.
salary, and EMP ID, right? I can call it as EMP ID, and address, and or contact. Like here only we can call it as contact number, address or contact number, and then job, right? Designation or job or joining date, right? This is the minimum information we'll get it. Yes or no?
Yes, yes. Yes, ma'am.
So if you are joining as a student, what you'll get? Student ID, your name, father name, mother name, and
Birth year,
birth
date of
date,
birth.
date of birth, address, and contact number. These details will be given to your college, right? So there you will get your some serial number, student ID. So once you have entered your data into the databases, you will get some unique ID. So whenever you have to enter some unique ID, you will be get your all the details, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So that means it's like in a data is a nothing simple word, okay? It's nothing but the collection of information or the piece of information. Whatever we have this, the name, salary, and employee ID, address, and job, right? These are all called as a data. Can we call it as a data?
Yes, ma'am.
Datas, name, salary, employee ID, address, and job. These are all called it as, we can call it as a data. Just a minute. Someone is joined now. Okay. So, yeah. So we have database also. What is mean by database? I can call employee is a database. So database means it's a centralized place. Whatever the datas are present, just so all the centralized place which we can store some data and manage the data is called as a database. So all the store the data will be stored in an employee. So the employee we can call it as a database. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So what we will do it? We'll create a employee database and employee table. There will be having a name, salary, employee ID, address, and job. The column names will be present, and name you have to enter some A and the details, and B and the enter the details. Same way you will be enter multiple datas, right? So that's the reason this name, salary, employee ID, and address, we can call it as a data, and all the data will be stored in a centralized place that is called as a database. Clear, everyone? Understood?
Yes.
In each and every databases we can do the interactions. What will do the interaction? What are the interaction you guys will do it? We'll do the inserting new data into the databases, or we can delete it unwanted, updating, or fetch or access the data. Same action we have done previously, right? Backend validation, that only will perform in this databases. In the database, each and every databases should support the, we can do the interactions, that is called as we can insert the new data and deleting, updating, or fetching or retrieving the data into the databases. I hope it's clear, everyone, what is meant by data and databases. Is it easy?
Yes, yes.
The notes, data concept, under that data, data, that comes data. So copy this, under that copy, data is nothing but, data is nothing but, data is nothing but collection of information, data is nothing but, data is nothing but collection of information, collection of information, or or a piece of information. Copy that. The data is nothing but collection of information, or a piece of information, or a piece of information of particular entity, of particular entity, of particular entity, or or a data, a data row or record, particular entity. Data is nothing but collection of information or a piece of information of particular entity. Done. The one more definition, we can call it up. You can mention as or, then continue with the same. A data row or record, row or record, which describe, which describe all the columns, all the columns, all the columns or attributes of a table, attributes of a table, or or table or entity is called data. Table or entity is called data.
Can you repeat from attribute?
Yeah. A data, a data row or record which describe all the columns or attributes, all the columns or attributes of a table, of a table or entity is called data. Attributes of a table or entity is called data. So it's done. Shall I repeat it?
No, ma'am, done.
Yeah. Columns we can also called as a attributes. Okay. The other name, the columns we can also called as a attributes, and the table is also called as a entity. Okay. That's what I'll give as a or. Okay. Or. The table or entity. Otherwise, the columns or attribute. Both are the similar names only. Done. So the copy this diagram for your understanding. Employee, copy the, this is the database, and here name, salary, employee ID and address, contact number, and the job. These are we have multiple columns also, just I'm giving the high level. Okay, these all the called as a piece of information, or the collection of the data is called as a data. Clear? Next heading, once it is copied, just take the heading database. Copy fast.
Done, ma'am.
Others copied.
Yes, copy.
Yes.
Okay, sure. So the next heading, what is the next heading? Data base. So now onwards is very, very important concept. Please listen it. Okay. So if you have any doubt, if you want to repeat it again, you guys can let me know in the session itself. So the heading is now is a database. These are all basic concept. So database, copy this under that. Database is a centralized place. Database is a centralized place, comma, comma, which is used to, which is used to, which is used to store some data, which is used to store some data, and and manage the data, and manage the data is called as database. Database is a centralized place. Database is a centralized place which is used to store the some data, which is used to store some data, and and manage the data, and manage the data is called as database. Manage the data is called as database. Done.
Yes.
In the bracket, open the bracket. Centralized place means, what is meant by centralized place? Anybody knows this? Can we call this as a common place to access for anybody anywhere? Is a middle place? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Same thing I'm just giving here. Centralized place means it is common place. It's common place where everyone can use and access. Everyone can use and access the data. Access the data. So next line. First point. In database, data will be stored in the table format. In database, data will be stored in the table format. In database, data will be stored in the table format. In the database, data will be stored in the, always it will be stored in the table format only. Okay, in SQL, okay, always it will be stored in table. The second point, database allows to store the data in systematic way. Database allows to store the data in systematic way. Continue. Since the data stored in systematic way, systematic means is organized. So keep remember that. Okay, since the data is stored in systematic way, users are able to access the data very easily. Users are able to access the data very easily. Since the data is stored in systematic way, users are able to access the data very easily. Next line, last point. Each and every database should support following interaction to the user. Each and every database should support following interaction to the user. Done. Next sub point under that, what are the interactions? We'll do it. Inserting, deleting, updating, or fetching, right? Yes or no? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes.
So under that, copy the sub point. First one, inserting new data into the database.
Under the interactions.
Yes. What are the
Each and
interaction it
every
will do?
database. Yes, ma'am.
Same thing. So whatever we have copied this, right? 4, 5, 6, 7 points. Same thing you have to copy it. Okay. Inserting new data into the database. Here,
Ma'am, after following
yes.
interaction with the user.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes, continue.
Okay.
So each and every database should support following interaction to the user. What are the interaction means? Inserting new data into the database, updating or modifying old data into the new data into the database, deleting unwanted data from the database, fetching or retrieving or accessing data from the database. Okay, copy this 4 interactions. This is called as data and database. Okay, let me know once you guys have copied this. Done?
Not yet.
No, ma'am.
Okay, copied it. Is it copied?
Yeah, it's done.
Okay.
Done.
So everyone done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll stop the sessions here. So we can continue on Monday. So further concept on database, but there is a DBMS and RDBMS, and we can try to install the MySQL tool on our laptop. Okay, please bring your laptop on Monday sessions. We, if possible, we'll try to install the Monday itself. Okay, once it is completed on DB, what is mean by DBMS management systems and RDBMS. Okay, there is a small concept. Once it is completed, we can try to install the MySQL tool on our laptop. Later on, we can go for the some basic concept like again data integrity and what are the literals and all we can discuss about the upcoming sessions. Clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Any
ma'am.
doubt on today's sessions?
Yes.
Okay, I'll stop recording now.